Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Matt Lateplo, and on behalf of OTC Markets, as well as our co-hosts, Alpha Transform Holdings and Blockchain Wire, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from DeFi Technologies, Inc. Please note you could submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Russell Starr, Head of Capital Markets of DeFi Technologies, Inc., which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol DEFTF and on the CBOE under the symbol DEFI. Welcome, Russell.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm sure there's a lot of repeat listeners. And as you well know, I tend to be very laid back in my presentation style, so please fire questions away anytime you want. I'm really going to focus on the high level side of what this company is and what we do. Very quickly, our corporate structure, you can see DeFi Technologies sits at the top. We have 3 JVs, Neuronomics, which you'll see us launching some AI-driven ETFs here, or ETPs shortly in the near future. We have a Bitcoin Suisse JV, and obviously a lot of these entities are European because that's where we tend to focus all of our products, just because of how complicated the regulatory setting is in the US. And then, of course, there's the Hive relationship, which, as many of you know, the founder of this company, well, one of the 2 founders is the founder and originator of Hive blockchain. And then very importantly, below, in our wholly owned subsidiaries, we own Reflexivity Research, which is Anthony Pompliano's research company. So yes, Pomp does work for this company now. He took all shares. He is incredibly bullish on the company, given that, you know, everybody's paying a lot of attention to what's going on in the ETF world, and how successful the Bitcoin ETF has been. But a lot of people aren't paying attention to the 15 other products we have: Solana, Avalanche, Polkadot, Core is coming up, and that is the sector that Pomp remains really, really interested in, as do, I hope and believe, many of our investors. We then own 100% of Valour, which is where we launch all our ETPs. And very, very importantly, and something that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to, we also own a 5% stake of Amina Bank, which was formerly known as SEBA Bank. We made that investment when the AUM in SEBA was about $1 billion. They now have $3 billion in AUM. For regulatory reasons, we have to market it at cost, basically. But I wouldn't be surprised if, given the fact that AUM is up by threefold, Bitcoin's back near all-time highs, if that position isn't up substantially. We then have our venture portfolio, which is all things that we think might eventually make it into our ETP class. And as many of you know, these are early seed investments that we generally make, $100,000 to $200,000 bets, and more often than not, they're 10 and more baggers. And then, of course, the infrastructure business, Solana, Pyth, Coinbase, many of these other entities that we're launching our new products with will be running validators on them as well. Solana, you can see in there, obviously. Core would be another one shortly. But you can quickly see how this business is growing and growing very, very quickly. And it does shock me a little bit that since Bitcoin 40,000 and about 4 other new products ago, we basically really haven't moved our share price at all. Bitcoin's up 50%. We've launched 4 more products. The Bitcoin yield product that we have coming out, in my opinion, could be revolutionary. And I'll walk you through just some of the concepts that we're looking at with that as well. I won't spend time on the team, other than to note Ollie, founder of Hive, Sue Ennis, HUD8 IR, myself, of course, and then the rest of the board. Very importantly, Johan Wattenstrom, another one of our founders, who is the founder and creator of XBT Provider, which is now CoinShares. And then, of course, Anthony Pompliano, which I'm sure many of you are very, very familiar with. Cap structure, share structure, you guys can look at that on your own. It's not really worth going through, other than we've got plenty of cash on the balance sheet. And for all of you who were paying attention to our Q4 and our annual press release, we still remain extremely confident in our guidance. In fact, we view it as conservative, where we effectively told the street that we should make about 46.8 million in revenue. And as many people who have listened here before, our costs really don't ever change. They're basically 12 million bucks to run the company, 8 million for operational expenditures, OPEX, excuse me, and then approximately 4 million to service the debt that we have associated with our CBA position. So if you take that guidance we gave you of 46.8 million in revenue, take off the 12 million, you're looking at 34.8 million US in profits. And still, to the best of my knowledge, this will be the only profitable crypto company, quite frankly, in the world. The miners aren't. I think Galaxy did on an accounting adjustment, and I'm not sure if that will carry through. But substantial revenues. We've announced the movement of our businesses into the Middle East, which should be a massive, massive AUM grab just because of how proactive and positive the Middle East is with respect to cryptocurrency and the amount of dollars that are chasing cryptocurrency and want to see products such as the ones we've been launching in their ecosystem. So very quickly, I'm going to go to our products here, and then I'm going to open it up. Please, if there's any questions as I'm going along here, just type them in and ask away. You can see our current products. We just launched a short Bitcoin product, which is now being added in there. But the really big one, in my opinion, is and it's really, quite frankly, come to very little fanfare. It's the core ETP. As well as the yield-bearing Bitcoin ETP. And just so everyone knows, this will be a zero management fee product that will pay investors yield to own the product. I don't see any world where BlackRock or any of the US ETFs can do this. They're not allowed to stake. I don't even know if they're allowed to lend or transfer yield onto investors based on the SEC regulatory environment. So this will be, in my opinion, potentially a game changer where you just see a flood of activity into it because, you're going to be long a Bitcoin proxy and being paid 1, 2, 3% yield. And, it'll take us a while to optimize and make sure that the validator is running properly and that we're collecting yield. But as soon as we see what we can do, we're going to be passing on return to investors. And that, in my opinion, could just be an absolute game changer in the market. As people are also aware, and for any new listeners, we also plan on still listing another probably 12 to 15 more ETPs this year, as many as 30 next year. And just so everybody understands, the revenue model for this company, it's very, very simple. We execute all our own flow, and you can go to the Nordic growth market and just look at all of our products. That they're trading with a lot of liquidity, sometimes as much as 20 million Swedish kroner a day, if not more. We collect 32 basis points on that. So if you do the math, if it's the equivalent of 15 million US in Swedish kroners for the day at 32 basis points, we're making almost $45,000 a day just on our trading desk alone. And then when we provided guidance to revenue, we gave everyone 2 data points. We said on 650 million in AUM, we'll make 46.8 million US in revenue. That's about 7.2% yield across all of our AUM. And so all you have to do is consistently look at our products, figure out our AUM, which I haven't gotten the update today, but I'm guessing it's somewhere around 600 million, maybe a little bit more. And as we launch more products, obviously that AUM should grow. But you effectively, as owning DeFi technologies, you get the benefit of all of that yield flowing into the balance sheet and generating revenue. A question was asked, where can you purchase our ETPs. They're all available in Europe. You can, to the best of my knowledge, as long as you're happy with a currency exchange. And by the way, we will be looking at listing all of these in US dollars as well here. You can buy them just using a Bloomberg or going through your bank, I would guess, and just asking for them by ISIN. And by that I mean in our deck you can see ISIN is the European equivalent of. Sorry, did I go the wrong way here? The European equivalent of. Yeah, I did. Sorry. ISIN is the European equivalent of a QSIP. And so you can pull them up easily and ask if you can buy them. But they are trading very, very liquidly and in substantial amounts all over Europe. Another question is, can you provide a quick primer on investing in crypto via ETPs and ETFs? Well, an ETP is an exchange traded product and an ETF is an exchange traded fund. They're almost identical. And basically you're buying a listed equity that mimics the exact same performance of the underlying crypto protocol. So you could buy our XRP or Uniswap or Solana ETP. It trades. There's zero divergence. There's none of the issues that Grayscale had. So these track perfectly the underlying. And you basically, by virtue of owning that ETP, get exact exposure to Solana, XRP, Uniswap, Atom, Engine. The Valour short is a little bit of a different one because it's going to be inversely related to the performance of Bitcoin. But for anyone who wishes to have some sort of a hedge on their crypto portfolio, they could literally just buy in an equity form one of our Valour short Bitcoin ETPs and be theoretically short Bitcoin at that time. I don't know. I hope that answered your question, but basically what we've done and what the mantra and the raison d'être for this company was to give people the ability to not just buy Bitcoin as an ETF or an ETP, but to buy all of these protocols, so that you're buying basically a traditional equity security that mimics the performance of the underlying crypto protocol, but it's backed by prospectus. Our regulators approved it. Anyone who wants to buy it will have gone through KYC. So we effectively solve for a lot of what the regulators have been worried about in the crypto universe. And one thing when we gave our projection, our guidance, which was to the 46.8 million, and again, like I really do want to harp on this a bit. It's not me trying to be cocky or arrogant, but this is a company that's about to do close to 50 million US in revenue, close to 40 million US in profits. And we're sitting at about $150 million market cap. It's very, very rare in my experience that you get an opportunity to buy a company trading at 3 or 4 times profits in any capital market. And if you look, across the miners, you can't even compare them to us. Excuse me. I've been a little bit sick, so apologies, everyone. Even if you look across the miners, they're not profitable. They're trading at many, many multiples of our market cap versus profit margins, and obviously some of those are backed by Bitcoin on their balance sheet. But if this company, and I'm just going to show you a quick look at some of the projections, but if this company gets to excuse me, 1 or 2 billion in AUM, you can see just how profitable this company will be. At $1 billion in AUM, we'll do about 70 million or 75 million in revenue and about 63 million in profits. 2 billion, that's 150 million in revenue. And remember, our costs don't change. These are not capital intensive businesses the way a mining operation is. This is a company that is a very, very low cost operator, and one where legitimately, you can scale this business as we're doing, right? We're If people have been paying attention to what's happened in the London Stock Exchange, they're allowing ETPs to be listed on the London Stock Exchange and available for institutional investors. We're passporting all of our products to the London Stock Exchange. We'll be passporting all of our products to the Middle East. We're looking to passport all of our products to Asia. And so, if you can drink a little bit of our Kool-Aid, and you're seeing the Kool-Aid live though in the Bitcoin ETF. It's the single most successful ETF ever listed in the US. Um, that's what we do. That has proven up our business model. Any chance of uplisting to the Nasdaq? Yes, absolutely. As soon as we get to a minimum $2 US share price, which quite frankly our revenues and profits support that share price just from a fundamental value. Using just traditional financial metrics, this should be trading substantially higher. We'll look to make an application to either the NYSE or the Nasdaq, and why we're debating on one or the other is NASDAQ tends to be full of the miners. There aren't a lot of very profitable companies there. And we feel that the NYSE might be a more intriguing opportunity for us, just given the fact that we're uber profitable, and growing very, very quickly and generating a substantial amount of revenues. And if this recent run up in Bitcoin has been any example of how quickly this business can scale, we were 150 million in AUM in September. We're now 650 million in AUM, and as we launch these new products, especially the Bitcoin yield product, I can see that AUM growing exponentially moving forward. So I'm going to leave it open to questions here. I've only seen 3 so far, but if anyone would like to ask me anything else, our deck is online. Happy to basically answer that. What are the drivers behind your 2020 revenue growth, new products? Well, the revenue we guided to, the 46.8 million, will be hit. That's just based off of 650 million in AUM at 7.2% yield. So if Bitcoin goes higher, this market goes higher, we'll eclipse those numbers. And legitimately, the drivers are organic growth in our products as more people buy them, as more people hear about what we're doing, as we move into new jurisdictions, just adding more and more customers. And just so everyone's aware, we've never had a down month in terms of losing customers. We've maybe had a down day, but month over month, we've always added new clients. So there's new products, organic growth, and then there's also the actual growth in the underlying tokens, which also increases. So you're actually, it's interesting. You've given me a nice little kind of new mini pitch, but you're actually giving me another reason that this company is pretty intriguing, and that is, having 3 different sources of growth is a very, very compelling way to look at a business. So I hope that answered your question. Another one is, can you speak to the opportunities within your venture portfolio? Look, the single most obvious and immediate opportunity is just doing simple math on the Amina position. We made our investment at a billion in AUM. They're now at 3 billion in AUM. So no one really ever factors that into our call it our net asset value. But the venture portfolio, just because of Pomp, Ollie, and Johan and their network, we get to see seed investment opportunities in new and upcoming protocols. And when you're investing in these protocols at minute valuations, and some of these are 1,000 baggers, like the Solana, for example, no one could have seen just how successful Solana was going to be. So we make small investments and we hope for 10, 15, 20 times our investment. It's not a core part. We're not an investment manager. We're not an investment counselor. We just take these really small positions to try to look at and get into and understand better some of these newer opportunities that actually might become our next products. Like it would be super cool to launch a sovereign or a Luxor product. Core, which we're doing our Bitcoin yield product with, no one's really been paying attention to them. They've never had to raise a dollar. They've generated all of their investment dollars just off of layer two opportunities on the Bitcoin blockchain, which is something really no one has taken advantage of other than them. Can you give some color on the marketing campaigns? You were flying under the radar. We are working to not be flying under the radar, and we've got research out of Benchmark. I'm going to meet with all the Roth team just ahead of Planet Microcap. We have numerous investment banks very, very interested in getting behind us just because of how profitable we are. And quite frankly, the questions you're asking, you seem to possibly be I just know a lot of the shareholders. Just doing more of this, and then of course we will obviously look to do some higher end marketing as now we are so profitable and generating so much revenue that it just gives us the ability to do that. Are we at liberty to speak about Middle East? I can't really talk exactly about who we're looking to work with there, but what I can say is, regardless of whether or not we participate in launching our products with another partner or we actually pursue it on our own, that will be a massive opportunity and one that's not being factored into our share price at all currently, nor is the fact that we're migrating all our products to the LSE, nor is the fact that we're going to be looking at in the next probably 6 months to penetrating Asia. Effectively, we're trading at three times, 4 times profits, assuming we're never going to grow at all. If you factor in any form of growth, I put that projection slide up. You can quickly get to 24 to 30 cents in profits, and we're only trading at 50 cents in the U.S., 55 cents. When you're trading at 2 times your profits in your share price, it's a pretty crazy investment opportunity, in my opinion. Thank you for that question, though. Well, look, I think we only have 5 more minutes here. I want to thank everyone for listening in. Please don't take literally my conviction in this company as anything other than just simple math. A lot of people ask me about Q1, and I'm like, guys, like you don't need to wait for Q1. You can do it on your own. We've told you that we make about 7.2% yield on our AUM. Well, in Q1, the average AUM was about 450 million US. Now we're at about 650 million US. So Q1 is going to be great. Q2 is going to be even better because all you have to do is take our monthly update for our AUM, average it across 3 months, basically multiply it by 7.2%, add in the 32 basis points for trading, and you get our revenues, and then you just take off our costs, which are 12 million bucks, basically $1 million a month, and you can come up with your own information on that, and it's probably, in my opinion, going to be pretty darn close. For the record, I haven't seen anything, so this isn't me talking out of line. I haven't seen one iota of information at all related to our Q1. I should add, though, for everyone, we will press release this. This isn't anything untoward, but the last date that we can file our financials is May 15th, and so we will have our Q1 out no later than May 15th, and if we're lucky, maybe a few days earlier, but everybody should anticipate, as many companies have guided to May 15th. That's the regulatory D-Day, so to speak, for getting your Q1 out. Well, thank you for all of the questions. I hope I answered them all. As everybody knows from this conference, I am able to do one-on-ones afterwards. And apologies for coughing a little bit, just a little under the weather. But I want to thank everyone for their time, for listening in. Very, very exciting times ahead. The fact that this Bitcoin ETF has been successful really only bodes well for us. It hasn't cannibalized any of our products, by the way. Our Bitcoin ETF, we haven't lost one client from it. We don't charge any management fees, and it tracks Bitcoin perfectly. So there's really no reason to leave our product to buy someone else's when everyone else is charging management fees. So I'll leave it with that. And everyone, thank you very, very much, and have a wonderful day. And I hope to hear from you. Anyone who wants to reach me, by the way, my email is rstar, STARR. So it's star, like star in the sky, but with 2 R's, at valour.com, VALOUR.com, or DeFi at defi.tech, DEFI.tech. With that, I'll come to an end.